Hi everybody, this is Diana with RealHealthyRecipes.com, and today we're making one of my favorite holiday recipes. Actually, I could eat this literally any day of the year because this is my cauliflower risotto. Risotto can be a very high calorie dish. So one serving of my risotto, it's about 100 calories. Traditional risotto is double that, so it's over 200. And the carbs in this are 5 for one serving, whereas traditional, it's closer to 30. What really resonates with me is how I feel after eating this risotto versus how I feel after eating regular risotto. And as you get tuned into your body and how it responds to food, you really begin to see how, a lighter food like this that's made with these real food ingredients just feels better. You're not gonna feel weighed down. You're not gonna feel bloated. You're gonna be energized. And at the same time, it tastes awesome. So I'm super excited about this recipe. This is something that I love to serve at Thanksgiving. I make it for Christmas. I like to make it, honestly, any time of the year, but because we have a little bit of the cranberries going on here and some parsley, it looks very festive for the holidays. So we're gonna actually make this start to finish, and I'm gonna show you just how easy it is to make. So the first thing that I've got going here is a pot of boiling water. So I put this on about 15 minutes ago, cranked the heat up on high, and we've got our water boiling. I've got one head of cauliflower that I trimmed it, so you get rid of all the green pieces, all the leaves, and then I trim it so that it's gonna be able to fit into the food processor. So that's the measurement, is it gonna fit through the little chute in the food processor? So you cut it down to that, and we're gonna just dump it into the boiling water here. We're gonna be careful that we don't get some splashback. And we're gonna let that boil for about 4 minutes. So I'm gonna look at the clock. Okay, so we're gonna let our cauliflower, we want it to get a little bit tender. We don't wanna do it just for a couple minutes and have it still be kind of tough, because risotto, as you know, it's a very soft and creamy dish. So in order to mimic that with cauliflower, we're first gonna boil it, get it soft, and then fork tender, and then we're gonna shred it, and then turn it into this amazing risotto. So we're gonna let that go for about 4 minutes, and we have 3 ribs of celery. Now I learned something interesting today. So I've been calling these stalks, but apparently, according to Wikipedia, a stalk of celery is a bunch. So when I've been referring to a stalk, I've meant a rib. So this is apparently a rib of celery, and we're gonna take 3 ribs of celery, and we're going to grate it in the food processor while our head of cauliflower is boiling, getting nice and tender for us. So I've got the grating attachment on, and we're just gonna run it through. It's gonna be a little bit loud here. We're going to be nice and careful not to get the fingers in there, and just run it down. All right. Now, as we wait for our cauliflower to cook all the way, you can see it is definitely starting to get a little bit softer, but we're going to let it go a little bit longer because I like the risotto just to be really creamy. And going back to the finished product here, you can see just how creamy this whole dish becomes. And the other thing about this dish, which I failed to mention, is that it is completely dairy-free. And I know that's a big thing for a lot of people with dairy allergies or who may be lactose intolerant. And this goes back to how the food makes you feel. If dairy upsets your stomach, you miss out on an amazing creamy dish like this. Well, this dish that we're making with the cauliflower, it has 0 dairy. So instead we're using a can of coconut milk, and then one of my favorite ingredients, which I think is really underutilized, which is nutritional yeast. And this gives it a cheesy flavor, and it gives it a little bit of that color, and it's just amazing flavor. Okay, so we got our cauliflower going here. During the holidays, we put so much time and effort into creating these holiday meals to share with our friends and family, and so many of the items, especially the sides, can be really heavy in the calories, and it can just, leave us not feeling our best. And that's why I think it's so fun and exciting to create, delicious sides that have all the flavor. It's festive, it's delicious, but we're doing ourselves a favor by taking in less calories. There's the fiber from the cauliflower and from the celery, and then the lack of the dairy. So I have many side dishes on my website, realhealthyrecipes.com, to go with your holiday meal. So even if you stick with a traditional main dish, there are so many lightened sides you can do, from grain-free bread rolls to a sweet potato casserole that I have, which is lightened from the traditional one that has the marshmallows on it. So there's so many things we can do. And with cauliflower, I have a wild rice cauliflower, which is my other side dish that I love to do at holidays. And we actually shred Brussels sprouts along with cauliflower, and then we put in some other seasonal flavors like the celery and some different nuts and spices. So there's a lot of different ways you can take your sides, just enlightening them and making them healthier for you. Okay, so I think that our cauliflower is ready here. You can see it's going to be fork tender. It's not mushy. If we were going to do a mashed cauliflower, which is another great side that I have to replace mashed potatoes, we would have to do it longer to make it softer, but we still want the pieces to be intact. We just want it to be tender. Okay, so I am going to turn this off, and I'm going to dump it into a colander in the sink so we can get rid of this water, and then we are going to shred this cauliflower. So we have our tender cauliflower pieces, and now I'm going to turn the skillet on because we're going to be preparing. And as you know, we always want to heat up our dishes before our skillets and pots before we use them so that they're ready to go for us. Typically, you would wait a few minutes because it's pretty hot. So we're going to turn this on, and I'm just going to use a spoon so that I don't burn my hands to run it through the food processor to turn it into our risotto. All right. This is the fun part. This is where we get to play with our real food. And it's just incredible that these simple ingredients are going to turn into something that's traditionally, it's a comfort food. Risotto is such a rich dish. It's usually so high in calories, and we're making it with these pure ingredients. And if you don't have your food processor yet, this is another motivator for you, yet another recipe where without a food processor, it would take us 4 times as long. Could you do it? Yes. You could get a good knife and you could chop these ingredients up, but why would you want to when you can just throw it into your food processor and have the work be done for you? All right. Okay, so that was it. That is our risotto ready to go for us. And we have our pan is already hot. So we're going to throw a tablespoon of olive oil into the skillet here. And I said a teaspoon of garlic, but I always get a little extra generous with the garlic because I love the flavor of garlic. And like I've been talking about in my videos, don't get too caught up in the measurements. If I'm cooking, just me in the kitchen alone, I don't measure anything. It's about getting a nice combination of real foods together and not getting hung up on something small like, was that a teaspoon or was that a tablespoon of garlic? It's not going to make a difference. It's going to taste amazing. Okay, so we had a tablespoon of olive oil, a teaspoon of garlic / a tablespoon, and then I chopped 1 yellow onion. I chopped it pretty finely, and you can use any type of onion that you like. I like the sweet yellow onions. I think the color is nice for this dish. Okay, so now we're just going to saute it for about 2 to 3 minutes. We want it to start getting nice and soft. And this is another big component in this risotto dish. We've got so much fiber. We've got the onion, we've got the cauliflower, we've got the celery, and then we've got our ginger. Okay, so once our onion gets tender, which we're gonna give it another couple of minutes. And I have the heat, I have it on medium-high. You really wanna watch it because we don't want to brown the onions. That's gonna kind of detract from the flavor. It's gonna start getting a little bit bitter if we brown it too much. So we're gonna watch the heat. We're gonna make it so it's tender and not golden. And the next ingredient that we're gonna add is a 1/4 cup of white wine. And it doesn't really matter what type of white wine. I think this is the Pinot Grigio. Any kind of wine that you have around, cooking wine. Okay, so we're gonna throw in a 1/4 cup of the white wine in here with the onions and the garlic. And it's starting to smell really good. This is where I wish you guys could smell because, you know, wine smells amazing as it like starts to simmer. And then we've got the smell of the onion and the garlic, which is really delicious here. I'm having a visitor. I don't know what's happening right now.
It smells so delicious.
This is my husband. This is Bedros. And he's crashing my video.
What smells so delicious, Chef?
This is, well, we're making risotto. Do you want to taste this?
I would love a taste.
Okay. You've had this before. Let me get you a smaller spoon.
Please. Should I
can force feed you.
stir this?
This is fine. This is fine. Okay, so this is risotto. And as I was telling our friends here, it's half the calories of regular risotto, and it's dairy-free.
Incredible.
This is a completely unbiased testimonial that I'm getting here on the fly.
That nutmeg I'm tasting?
This is nutmeg. Yes.
It's delicious.
No, it's not nutmeg. It's
No.
not nutmeg. He's totally throwing me off, guys.
No, it's
I
a
don't know what's
family joke.
happening here.
Hey,
I don't know what's happening
I'll see you
here.
later.
I love you.
You're doing a great job.
Okay, so that was good. We gave our onions some time to simmer here. All right, so we've got our onions simmering in some white wine. You never know when you're gonna have unexpected friends stop by while you're doing a Facebook Live. It's just, you never know. All right, so now we're gonna throw in our cauliflower and our celery, which we have grated. And we still got some steam coming off here. Okay, here we go. Adding these ingredients in. All right, so you can see now if you've made cauliflower rice before without boiling the cauliflower first, so it's a little firmer, you can see the difference here. This is very soft, which is, you know, to me, risotto is soft and creamy. And so doing that extra step of boiling the cauliflower, it really changes the texture in a great way to make it soft and creamy. We are just incorporating the cauliflower and the celery in with the wine, which you can see the wine has been completely absorbed now. And we are getting this cauliflower and celery mixed in. Okay, so the next step is a full can of coconut milk. And I typically get the organic kind, which they were out this morning at the market. So we are using regular, but it's unsweetened. I don't use the low-fat kind. I use the full-fat. You know, as we learned from Jason Phillips, we need fat in our diet, so we're not going to be afraid of adding in some fat. And actually, one serving of this risotto has 9 grams of fat, so it's very reasonable. Okay, so we're just going to mix in our coconut milk, and it was separated a little bit into the cream and into the water. So we're just going to mix it until all of it is incorporated. And this, guys, this smells so good. Like, it smells like Christmas to me right now, which it's always great when you can, you know, you're putting out the effort to make this real food dish, and your house smells good, and you get to share it with the people that you love, and it's just such a special process. I know we're all so busy these days, but it's worth taking the time, you know, to make something like this. Okay, so you can see that it's, we have some liquid going on here, which we are going to simmer this dish until the liquid is gone and it's just creamy. So next step is a 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast. Now, nutritional yeast is not like traditional yeast that you use in bread. It does not, you know, It doesn't do anything to that effect. It's for flavor. There's some B12 in it. But really, when I was a vegan, this is an ingredient that would be used for replacing cheese. And so that is what I use it for. I love the flavor. You know, if there's a dish where you would usually use Parmesan cheese, or you'd use some kind of shredded cheese, you throw the nutritional yeast in, it gives you the flavor. I love it. If you haven't ever tried it, give it a try. You can keep it in your fridge, the powder, and it lasts for quite a while. Okay, so we're simmering this here. We're mixing in the nutritional yeast. You can see it's changing the color a little bit. It's making it a little bit golden, taking away that white flavor or white color. Okay, so next we have two options with this. This is dried cranberries, which you can use this, or you can use crimson raisins. And oftentimes I will just get the crimson raisins. I kind of like them better than cranberries. But for the holidays, you know, cranberry is such a traditional flavor. It's such a traditional ingredient to use. Try to stay away from the dried cranberries that have been soaked in sugar, which a lot of them at the store have been. I think I got these at Sprouts, and so there might be some sugar in it. You can dry your own cranberries at home, but that's why oftentimes I'll just do the crimson raisin, because those haven't been dried with sugar. It's, you know, there's plenty of sugar in the grape. But the red color is nice. I mean, you could use just a regular colored raisin, like the black one, or you could chop up dates. Date is another really great holiday ingredient. Love fresh dates, so that would work too. But the red color is nice. It makes it, you know, look holiday, looks kind of Christmassy. Okay, so we're still simmering here, and you can see that the liquid is getting less, but we still got a ways to go. Okay, so we have half a teaspoon of sea salt, my other favorite ingredient, and a quarter teaspoon of black pepper. And so we're gonna season it up here, mixing that in, simmering it. Okay, so now we're gonna take the flavor up a notch by taking a lemon, and we're just gonna grate it and get some of that lemon zest, which, this is another one of my favorite smells in the kitchen. I'm definitely a smell person. Like, my smell is my best sense, and there's nothing like smelling fresh ingredients. It's so yummy. All right, and again, we could get technical about how much of this to add, but I would rather just add as much as I feel like, and it's just gonna enhance the flavor. Okay, so we got our lemon in there. We're simmering here, and you're gonna let it simmer until it reaches the creaminess that you want. I like it super creamy, so I will let it go for a while. And then our final ingredient to add is just some chopped parsley. And this is that green to complement the red. And even though it's Christmas colors, definitely serve this at Thanksgiving. It's such a delicious dish. We're gonna mix this in. And at this point, you would taste it, see if you wanna add more salt, see if you wanna add more pepper. If you want more flavor, you can add a little more nutritional yeast, and that will do it. Add a little more lemon zest if you like. And so I will let this go because I like it super creamy. Turn the heat down a bit because, again, we don't want to brown it. We don't want to change the color. We just want to get that liquid to evaporate. We want the tenderness and the creaminess to increase. And again, this is what it's going to look like when it's completely simmered down and it's just creamy. And it's such a great side, such a great complement to your holiday meal. And like we said, it's going to make you feel good. You're not going to feel weighed down and bloated after you eat a side dish like this. This is food that loves you back. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. For more recipes like this, check out realhealthyrecipes.com. I'll see you next time.